Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Sharon, and this is A Time for Reading. So today what I want to do is go over my TBR, but also explain where I have been for the last month, 2 months. I'm not entirely sure. It just has been a while. The reason I've been gone is because I've been trying to figure out ways to improve my channel. I feel like I could take everything I've learned, but then use it to create better content, and that is my goal for you guys. My goal isn't to just be really good about being super consistent and putting out videos. I think that's a longer term goal for me. My goal to start with is just creating really cool content that I would want to watch and to create the content that I want to see here on BookTube. So in that mindset, I bring you today's video. So today's video is about a relay TBR. A relay TBR is basically a TBR where you use your first book to then choose your next book, and then that next book helps you choose your book after that, and so on and so forth. I think I'm going to stop with 14. I think that'll be good enough, because I'm also going to have 2 wild cards at the end, so that way I have a little bit of freedom in case I decide, oh, like I don't want to read this book right now, or maybe I want to swap out one of my TBR books for one of my wild cards, whatever. Just gives me a little bit more flexibility. So the first book that I want to talk about, and the one that I want to use to kick off my relay, is actually The Stars and the Blackness Between Them. This book is the book that I received from Book of the Month YA. I am a YA affiliate, and if you guys are interested in joining in with Book of the Month YA, I do have a code down below. It's the code GROW, all in caps, to be able to get your first book for just $9.99. Shipping is included. So if you use the link down below, you can get your first Book of the Month YA book for just $9.99, like I mentioned. I did their book last month, which was The House of Salt and Sorrows, and freaking loved it. I actually vlogged the entire reading experience on Instagram. I've already started this book. I'm like a little bit in, not much, maybe like 10-15 pages. I'm not entirely sure, but I've already started that book. I've already finished one book already this month, which was Daughter of the Pirate King, which is why I'm also in the midst of Daughter of a Siren Queen right now. So I'm currently reading 2 separate books. 2 books. And The Stars and the Blackness Between Them is the other book that I'm reading. So that's the one that's going to kick off this relay. In the mindset of the relay, to kind of give you an idea of how this book is going to help me choose my next book, this book does deal with some students that are in high school. Because of that, I decided that my next book has to be a book dealing with school, or set in a school, or has school in the title. So the book that I chose to be my very next book on my TBR is going to be The Gifted School. So The Gifted School is another Book of the Month book that I received, not from the YA one. It is an adult contemporary novel. It's supposed to be about these crazy parents that are just super insane about making sure that their kids have the most opportunity possible when they grow up. These are the types of parents that we hear about, you know, applying for preschools while their child hasn't even been conceived yet, like that type of parent. So very like external and plot driven was kind of the gist I got. I learned about these books without reading them by reading the descriptions, reading some reviews about them, to just get a better idea of what each book was about. So this helped me build my prompts. I'm going to be like explaining things as I go along, so bear with me. So using The Gifted School as my next book in my relay, I decided that my next book has to be about a family dealing with an internal issue. So we've gone from a group of families dealing with an external issue, dealing with like school pressure and all this other stuff, to picking a book that deals with a family dealing with an internal issue. It's more of like a literary fiction, family-driven novel. So the book that I chose to fill that prompt is If Only I Could Tell You. This book is about family, and there's a family secret involved, and I'm not going to go too far into it because, again, there's a lot of books on this list, and I've memorized as many of them as I possibly could. I don't want to go into like super details and like make my brain explode. Going from that book where we're dealing with a family secret, but that's not a clear like mystery. By clear mystery, I mean like there's a detective or there's a crime that's taken place that we know of. Those are clear mysteries to me. This is not a clear mystery, but it has a mystery angle. So my next prompt is to pick a literary mystery. So the next book that I picked to go with that particular prompt is Ask Again, Yes. I will be putting all my prompts that I created from my relay down below. So if you guys want to just follow this particular prompt list, you could. But I would really love it if you guys like started with your own, like this is the book I want to start with and this is the TBR I'm going to build from it instead, the same way I did, because I feel like it's really fun. But anyway, back to Ask Again, Yes. Ask Again, Yes is a book that's actually set over a 40-year time period, dealing with two people as they're growing up together. And because of that, the mindset I had when I read about the description and like read about what it was about, what I thought about was the trials of growing up. So my next prompt is to pick a YA novel. So the YA novel that I chose is Something About Sweetie. This is a book that's been on my TBR a few times. I've been meaning to read it so many different times. But so far it just keeps getting pushed to the side and I am done waiting for it. I really hope it comes up this month. I'm like, cross my fingers, praying. Everything I need to do, making this happen. But Something About Sweetie is my very next book that I'm choosing. This book does have a main character who is Indian, and she's fat, and she's a track star, and she's a badass, and I love it. So what I thought about to be the prompt from Something About Sweetie is to choose a book where a character in the book, preferably a main character, has a hobby, or an interest that is more specific or unique or something along that line. Kind of a convoluted prompt. I'll figure out a better way to word it when I type it out underneath here. So we'll see from there. But the book that led me to was Well Met. Well Met is a book that I got. Another one of my Book of the Month books. I'm trying really hard, as you can tell, to like get Book of the Month books on my TBRs every single month. I'm trying to whittle them down. I'm trying to whittle down my whole pile because there's too many and we're trying to make them go further down. I've got almost 50 Book of the Month books. I think I'm down to like 19 unreads at this point. So we're going to work on them, and that's including the shipment I got this month. So anyway, Well Met is a book that has a main character that's very much into the Renaissance fair. I can't remember exactly how the Renaissance fair is utilized outside of it being an interest of the main character, so it fits the prompt. But the prompt that I thought of to go with it was to pick a book that had a historical aspect to it. Didn't have to be historical romance or anything like that, but it had to be an historical fiction novel. And then the book that led me to was actually the 10,000 Doors of January. This is actually another book that's on the Book of the Month YA list, but I did not receive it from that. I received it from the regular Book of the Month subscription. Book of the Month YA has lots of cool choices. Like there was a third and fourth book that I was also like, oh, I want that so much, but I did not get it. So way to show the willpower, Sharon. The 10,000 Doors of January is a book that is listed as historical fantasy, so it's definitely one that fits with a historical aspect without being like a straight up historical romance. I don't know if there's a romance involved in it at this time. We will see. But what I did notice about it when I was reading descriptions is that this book centers around ideas and imagination and another world. Like there's doors that lead to other places, and instead of choosing doors, because the only thing I could think of involving doors was Wayward Children's series, and I've already read all of them. What I decided to do was to make the prompt to pick a book about a library, set in a library, or about books, or with the main character who's a bookworm, like something involving ideas and where they're kept. So the book that I chose next for that was Sorcery of Thorns, which is a book that is actually set in a library. It's a magical library, and it just sounds absolutely fantastic. But one of the things I didn't realize until I read the description again and reminded myself was that there is a romantic aspect to this book. So my next prompt became to pick an historical fiction novel. So the next book that I picked to go with that prompt was actually Bringing Down the Duke. Again, we are trying to get down my Book of the Month pile, you guys. But the thing I noticed about this book that was really cool for the next book was that there's a strong female lead character. So what I wanted for my prompt for my next book is to use the prompt of pick a book with a strong female lead, preferably someone totally badass. And the book that I chose was Skyward, where we have a female character who is actually in flight school and she's trying to become a pilot. That's her dream, and I can't wait to read it. I've heard so many good things about this book, and I think it's going to be fantastic and definitely will fit that bill. So to go with Skyward, one of the things I noticed in Skyward is that The main character's father has passed away. It's not a spoiler, it's literally on the jacket. I haven't read the book yet. But the main character's father has passed away. So because of that, choose a book where either one or more of the characters has lost a parent or both parents. So the book that I chose to go with that, and y'all are gonna like judge me so hard because I definitely put this on my TBR months ago, but I actually never finished it. And the book that I chose to go with that is Crooked Kingdom. Crooked Kingdom is the second book of the Six of Crows series. I haven't finished it yet. I read like the first fourth of it, and then somehow I got put down and then never picked up again. I don't know how or why, but that is what happened. I don't know. But it was really good when I read. Like, it wasn't like I disliked it. It just happened. Ugh. Anyway, I'm not gonna stress about that anymore because I'm gonna hopefully read it this month. Crooked Kingdom, it has a heist plot, from what I can tell. Like the Six of Crows had a heist plot, and now this book also has another heist plot. So I decided to make my next prompt be to find a book about finding something that's missing, or finding a missing person, or about finding something for the very first time, whether it's love or a hidden key or some crap. I don't know. So the book that I thought of when I actually figured out this prompt was actually Where'd You Go, Bernadette. This book involves a mother who's gone missing, and it's supposed to be like a road trip story, I think. I might have heard that, and that could be false, but I swear that's what I've heard. But it's about a mother that's gone missing. So right from there, you can already guess, I'm sure, the next prompt, which is to pick a book with a strong matriarch character, or with a relevant to the story matriarch character. So this is a book where the mother isn't just like a side plot character. This is someone that immediately affects the book. And the book that I chose is actually The Death of Mrs. Westaway, where it's not only the mother that affects the book, it's the potential maternal grandmother, or the not so really potential maternal grandmother. So there's a lot of family happening in here, but it's got a mystery aspect, which I am so excited about. Oh my gosh. So one of the things I noticed when I was reading the reviews for The Death of Mrs. Westaway is that this book has an old school mystery theme. So what that led me to was the idea of a prompt where it's a mystery but has a different kind of vibe, not contemporary, something a little bit more old school, something along that line. Again, this is another one that I'm going to figure out how to word better later as I write it down there, so definitely make sure to check that description box for a list of the prompts. So the book I chose from that is yet another book I should have read like 4 months ago. Oh my god. I'm exaggerating. I swear I just meant to read it last month, but still. The book I picked was Magic for Liars. This book is an old school noir style mystery that's set at a magical school. So very, very, very cool sounding book. I can't wait to read it. And the last book on my list, because the next two prompts will just be wild cards. So the way that I'm doing the wild cards is there's going to be one slip of paper in my little pouch thing that I've already found that will say wild card. So when I get it, it means I just have to pick a random book off my shelf, or I can put it back and pick out another slip if I really just want to read something from my TBR. And then there's going to be a second wild card slip that's in my outside pocket for my pouch, so that if I decide that, listen, I'm not in the mood for anything on my TBR, or I get a book that I'm dying to read right away, or I just notice something really interesting somewhere, I'm going to put that as kind of a, what is it? Fire alarm? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with, I don't want to know what I was doing with that. Oh, God. Okay, so, but basically it's just oh my gosh, I'm sick of what I'm reading right now. I need something else. Wild card. Okay? So that's the two I'm doing. And then I'm also going to be reading some other books I already had planned for this month. For instance, I wanted to read Saga this month. I don't know how many of them I'm going to read, but I'm going to try to read a couple at least. So on the off chance that some magical way I managed to get through all the books in this relay TBR, and there's 14 of them, so it's highly unlikely. If I do manage to get through all of them, what I'm going to do is just continue from Magic for Liars, and then I'll film that in my wrap up or my vlog or whatever the hell I do to actually tell you about the books I'm reading and to share my experiences with them. I don't think I'm going to finish them all. I think I should be fine. We'll see. I should be okay. But what I'm going to do to pick them, I'm not going to read them in order. I feel like that is the most obvious way to do it, but who wants to be that obvious, honestly? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a little TBR jar, and then each time it's time for me to read my next book, I'm going to pick from the TBR jar. Now, if I'm on the road, I'm going to pick the TBR jar picks ahead of time and film it, so I know which books I'm supposed to pack for the trip. So some of them will be picked ahead of time in that sense. But if it's the weekend and I come home and I've only finished one of those books, all the slips that have been unread will go back in the jar and then shook up again, and then I'll pick for my next read. So like, we'll basically be playing it by ear, but there will be some ahead planning involved. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's basically it. Like, I hope you guys like this. I hope this is something that's interesting. I had a lot of fun putting this together and just trying to figure out, like, okay, what's the essence of this book and how does that lead me to the next, or what's some random little factoid about this book that could lead me to my next read. And I thought that was really fun. So if you guys want to follow the prompts I have down below, you can. I'm not going to be upset with you. But I think it would be way more fun if you guys did your own relay, because I would love to see the really random TBRs that show up because of that. Because I feel like I've got books from all over the place. As always, thank you so much for joining me today for my video. I had so much fun doing this TBR and like putting everything together, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it too. And if you guys decide to do the same thing, just post the picture of your TBR on Instagram and hashtag Relay TBR. That's what I'm calling it. That's what I'm going with. And it's going to be on my Instagram post as well, with all the books that I've picked. Some of them hidden, obviously. Give me a little bit of mysteriousness with the video. I'm not mysterious, but I probably won't even do that because that's a lot of work. But I can't wait to do this TBR. Like, it's just the most random, cool TBR that I've ever had. And I just love how I got to it. Like, it's just really fun. And yeah, if you end up doing it, hashtag Relay TBR, and then make sure that you tag me as well, because I'd love to see it and be able to comment on it. And if you end up actually doing a video on this, definitely tag me, let me know. Yeah, I think that's everything. I think I've covered everything. If you liked what you saw, like this video. If you want to see more, click that subscribe button. And if you want to chat about your own Relay TBR, or to go over your favorite book from what I just listed, if you've read any of the books that I've listed, or if you really want to know more about the books I listed, just comment down below. I'd be happy to help you out. And that's all for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope you find a lot of time for reading. Bye, everyone.